Hi learners, welcome back to DHILK. In this video, we are going to check about the difference between ionic bonding and covalent bonding. What are the differences between them? And we are explaining this concept using simple example so that you can catch it easily. And by the end of this video, you'll be clear about this difference between ionic and covalent bonding. Now, let's get started. Okay, we can check it with an example. So we can check the formation of sodium chloride. Okay, sodium chloride. So this is an ionic compound. How it is forming? Sodium, in its valence shell there is 1 electron. Before that we can check what is the atomic number of sodium? 11. And there is 11 electrons in sodium. How it is arranged? 2, 8, 1. So in the first shell there will be 2 electrons. Then the second shell there will be 8 electrons. Totally 8 electrons. And in the valence shell there is 1 electron. This is the last electron. Now, in the chlorine atom, there will be 2 electrons in the K shell. There will be 8 electrons in this shell. And in chlorine atom, the atomic number is 17. So, there are 17 electrons. 2 electrons in the K shell and 8 electrons in the L shell. In the last shell, there will be 7 electrons. Okay. So, to acquire stability, there should be 8 electrons in the valence shell. So, what will happen? This sodium, it will transfer its electrons to this chlorine atom. So sodium is transferring that 1 electron to this chlorine atom. So as a result of that, what will happen? The electron in the sodium will be removed and 1 electron will be that electron. Electron is transferring of electron is ionic compound. What is happening in ionic bond? Transferring of electrons. So this electrons in this sodium chloride, this last electron will go to this shell of this chlorine atom. Now what will be the electronic configurations? 1 is removed from here and instead of 7 it will be 8. So what is the finest electronic configuration? Sodium 2 8 and in chlorine 2 8 8. So now both of these elements has 8 electrons in the valence shell. And what will be the bond? We can represent the bond like this. Sodium transfer its 1 electron to chlorine. So initially it was sodium, and when it transfer that 1 electron to chlorine, what will happen? Sodium loses its electron, so sodium Na plus, and chlorine it will be Cl minus. That what is this minus is representing? This is that extra 1 electron that we get from this sodium. So we can represent like this: sodium converted into sodium plus 1 electron. This plus indicates that this is a cation. Okay, this is a cation. Now, what happened to chlorine? Chlorine, initially it was chlorine Cl and it accepted 1 electron. So, when it accepted 1 electron, so chlorine is converted into Cl minus. And this Cl minus, this is an anion. Okay, anion. So, this is a cation, this is an anion. Now, basically we can see the reaction is happening between metal and a non-metal. Non-metal. What is a metal here? Sodium is a metal and chlorine is a non-metal. Okay. So, ionic bond is formed between a metal and a non-metal, and as a result of ionic bond, it will form a cation and an anion. That is ionic bond. Now, we can check what is covalent bonding, what is happening in covalent bond. And in covalent bond, we can use the example for the formation of H2 molecule. Okay. In H2 molecule, we know that what is the atomic number of hydrogen? Hydrogen atom atomic number is 1. So there will be 1 electron in the valence shell. So that is in this shell there will be 1 electron in this hydrogen atom, and there will be 1 electron in this hydrogen atom also. Okay. So hydrogen, we can represent hydrogen 1, which has 1 electron in each of this hydrogen. Now in order to form bond between these two compounds, both of them are non-metal, what will happen? They will share their electron to each other. So that what will be the output? These electrons, both of these electron will stay in between these two hydrogen atom. Now we can look at the electronic configuration of hydrogen atom. The first hydrogen atom has 2 electron and the second hydrogen atom has 2 electron. Now both of these atoms got 2 electrons and now they are stable and they form the H2 molecule. Got it? So there is a sharing of electrons in between the atoms. If sharing is there in between the atoms, this is a covalent bond. This is a covalent bond. What is happening in the ionic bond? They are transferring electron from one atom to another atom. But in covalent bond, what is happening? There is only sharing of the electrons. There is no transferring of the electrons. Okay, this is one example. If this is in another, we can take another example. If how this CH4 molecule is happening. In carbon atom, how many electrons are there in the valence bond? In carbon atom, there are 4 electrons in the valence bond. And hydrogen atom has 1 electron in the valence bond. Okay. Now, what will happen? This carbon atom shares its electrons with the hydrogen atom electron. Like that, there will be 4 other hydrogen atoms. Okay, 4 other hydrogen atoms, and each of them has 1 electron. So 2 electrons are shared between this carbon atom and this hydrogen atom, and like that in each of this carbon hydrogen. So what is the final output? Each hydrogen atom get 2 electrons, and carbon totally it has 8 electrons. Initially carbon has only 4 electrons, but sharing electrons in between hydrogen atom, 4 of this electron, each of them share electrons with each of the hydrogen atoms. So totally there will be 8 electron. Got it? So now for carbon atom there are 8 there is 8 electrons, but hydrogen atom there are 2 electrons for each of the hydrogen atoms. So totally this is a stable molecule. This is how covalent molecules are formed. Got it? Now we can finalize our points. What is ionic bonding? In ionic bonding, there is transferring of electron. There is transferring of electrons between the atoms, and this is in between metals and non-metals. Metals and non-metals. And it will form cation and an anion. But in covalent bond, what is happening in covalent bonding? There is sharing of electrons in between the atoms, and the bond is formed between non-metals. And finally we will get a covalent molecule. Example for ionic bond, what is the example? We can take the example of sodium chloride formation in NaCl. And in covalent bond, we can take the example of H2 molecule or a CH4 molecule. Clear? This is the difference between covalent bonding and ionic bonding.